we go. Really, oh, I feel it. There we go. We're just the camera. I was like peeking in. Peek. There we go. Okay, there we go. Oh, I gotta turn my phone down too. I'm a little bit of a mess today, but what's new? There we go. I think I need to move my logo at some point. It's kind of hiding in there. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo.
I can bump it up a little bit.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, don't you think?
It kind of blends in a little bit there.
Well, someone will probably get mad about it and be like, Courtney's trying to pull a fast one and not have her logo.
Typical, yeah. It's not.
Yeah, well, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. There's always something.
Yeah.
Right?
How are you?
Kind of a hot mess today, but it's okay. It's what it's like.
Kind of out of sorts, are we?
A little.
Yeah.
Always a little out of sorts. Okay. But have a great guest today. I'm excited. So we are on a roll.
Yeah.
With guests.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Is this amazing?
And it gives me great ideas for these guests after I get seconds or whatever.
Yeah, it's okay. You can have my seconds anytime. I'm here for you.
Thank you.
Yep. So this is fun, exciting. There's all kinds of stuff going on today. Next week we'll have to do our Thanksgiving show because right after I leave next week I'll be tossing around pies. So I better get your pie order before I leave here. Yep. Dale's like, give me all the pies. Well, let me introduce the show. Then I do my little plug here. So this is Put a Fork in It. Grand Forks is most exciting and talked about talk show, video show, podcast show, whatever type of media you want to watch us on. All the things. Thanks for watching. A lot of people have been asking about the podcasting. I am not very good about I have one or maybe two podcasts that I listen to because I believe I haven't been diagnosed, but I believe I have a touch of ADHD. I know that's shocking.
Just a touch.
Maybe just a smidge.
Yep.
So I can't, it's too much for me. So I listen to a few. I like your guys' shows because I can see. I'm a visual gal, so I like to see the things. But it is on Apple Podcasts and all your little podcasty things. So so listen while you're on the road. I have been offering it up as a suggestion. So welcome. My name is Courtney Barstead-Logan. I'm a realtor here in the Grand Cities with eXp Realty. You can find me on social media at Grand Cities Living. You can find me on Twitter, Grand Cities Life. And you can feel free to give my broker a hit up, call, whatever you need to. Maybe email them at ndbroker@exprealty.net if you've got any beef that you want to chat with her about. So feel free to do that. And my shameless plug, I'm wearing my little Grand Forks sweatshirt today. I love this sweatshirt. Gosh darn it, I should have brought the gals that make these. Should have brought their company name in, but I can drop it in the link if you want. Very excited about the vote today. So I brought up my info here. So there is a special election today, and I know a lot of times people say like, oh, I didn't even know what was going on, or just, oh, I got too busy. Voting literally takes 5 minutes here. It probably takes longer to park your car and walk
Takes
inside.
Longer to get there, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So it's at the Alara Center. You walk in, you give the delightful people who are there volunteering your ID. They ask if you're an American citizen, all the things. You go, and I think there's one thing we're voting on today. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
Just get your little pencil, go in. And today what we're doing is we're voting on extending the 3-quarter sales tax, which is currently collected for the Alara Center, and that's being voted on to extend it past 2029. What's so important, and this is for the benefit of our entire community. So this is for a fitness facility, which please don't quote me because I don't have every single detail with it, but indoor soccer facility, lacrosse, places for kids and most likely adults to be able to run around. I don't know if people know. It does get a little cold in this part of the country, and we do not have an indoor practice facility for our community like this.
Any summer sports at all.
Any summer sports. So we even, for fear of, I'm going to call this up, but we do not have an indoor practice facility that is large enough for our Division I sports, some of them at UND, okay? So the size of this is going to be sizable for soccer, lacrosse, for kids, and even those that want to get out and play. So what an amazing opportunity we can bring in. Also,
a pool.
A track. Oh, track. Is track going to be part of it? Okay, so it's going to have a track facility or a track around the soccer size facility.
I believe so.
Yep. Okay. So we're not going to screw this up. We're not going to make it just football. We're going to make it a smidge larger so we can do all the sports. Okay. So that's going to be indoors. And pool, we are losing UND's pool. I know people have asked questions like, well, why should, somebody has been fronting this for a long time, folks.
Yeah,
okay?
and it's illegal to swim in the river.
You can't swim in the river.
Not in city limits.
No, okay. And if you're like, well, I don't swim and I don't like to be active. So, poo-poo to that. I'd rather have my 3/4 cent sales tax back. Cool. Yes, it is the sales tax. I would rather have that back. That's cool. Think of the amount of money, folks, that come to our community when we have soccer tournaments, lacrosse tournaments in the winter because people want to get out and about. We have swim meets. UND used to host state swim, and that was huge, and that brings a ton of revenue to our community. It is supporting our businesses where people go out and shop and eat and stay in our hotels and support all kinds of things. So think beyond your physical fitness. If you don't care to swim, fine. But later in life, you might want to be in a little water aerobics, and then you'll be kicking yourself.
And the nice thing, too, is it's not all paid for by Grand Forks residents. It's a sales tax, so whatever's sold. So, and if you're really, if you've got something up your butt about this and you're against it, go to East Side and shop, all right?
Yep.
Done deal.
Go to East Side and shop. Yeah, just sit and shop on Amazon, folks. Do your thing, whatever you need to do. But
there you go. Way to support small local business.
Yes. So this betters our community. It brings people here. So please get out and vote and support for kids of all ages here today. So I'm going to say that. So that's my shameless plug before we get into my fantastic guests. So I apologize for the little soapbox here, Matt, but thank you for being here. So,
of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So this morning I have Matt with the Northlands Rescue Mission. So excited to have Matt here to share about. It is the season of giving, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But for folks that aren't familiar with the Rescue Mission, I'd love for you to share about the mission of the mission. Do you hear that a lot?
I do, yeah.
Okay, good.
That's one of our several kind of slogans we have.
The mission of the mission. Darn it, I thought I was being so fancy. So share a little bit about the mission of the mission, the work that all of you do, and really the huge impact that you have on the Grand Cities. So
yeah. So the kind of the big thing when I talk about the mission is it's so much more than you would think it would be, just from knowing that we're a homeless shelter. I remember when I was a little kid, I was in like maybe middle school, and we did a tour of the mission, and we saw the kitchen, and it's a place for people who don't have homes to go. And then I never thought about it again for like 15 years. And then I got a job there out of college, and I was blown away by all of the other things that they do that you don't necessarily hear about. Meaning they provide meals for community members. We do food boxes. We run a mobile pantry that brings food to rural communities. We operate a backpack program that helps feed elementary students in Grand Forks who maybe their parents are on a low income and it's hard for them to get all the things they need on the weekend. And then the actual shelter itself, too, it's so much more than just a bed. We have social workers there, and we work with people to we sit them down and get their story, and we say, what are your goals? What do you want for yourself? How can we help you, find employment if that's what you're trying to do, find housing? How can we help you get your identification papers if you're missing them so that you can move on in your life? And so we see a lot of success stories come out of that. It's not just a temporary stop, basically, until you're back on the streets again. So
absolutely. So it's a really a holistic approach when you look at everything that the mission does. Excuse me. And like you said, it's not a homeless shelter. It's not just somewhere where sometimes people say it's a soup kitchen. It's a homeless shelter. It's you have a full holistic approach where I know you also work with other organizations in the community because you all cross paths to ensure you're providing the right resources to all of the families. Now, is the mission open to families? To how does that all work? What is what your structure?
I'm glad that we're doing this year because as of last July, we actually opened a family shelter, and it's typically we've always accepted adults, 18 or older, experiencing homelessness into the shelter, but we opened up this family shelter, and really what it is, it's a series of apartment units across town that we rent. Kind of the mission is the tenant, but that space is provided for full families experiencing homelessness. And you'd be surprised at how many families are dealing with that kind of thing. And not just single moms and kids. It's mom, dad, and a couple kids. And there's very limited resources for a family like that who is going to lose their housing or has already lost their housing. So it's very similar to the main shelter, in which there's a 90-day period where you can stay in there and have access to a social worker, work towards permanent housing, work on whatever goals you might have, get help with food, childcare items, whatever it is you may need.
And so that has, if you're a single individual or something, you have a 90-day window on that. How does that work then? I know, temperatures are dropping, and you read different things on, different forums of, I need this or where. Now, is it a first come, first serve for shelter? Do you have priority type things? How does that work for community members that are in need of that?
Yeah, so we have a lot of space at the main shelter, so we're not going to be running out of room anytime soon there. The family shelter is a first come, first serve. We have just 3 or 4 units open right now. We're kind of hoping to add more. However, what I will say is, if you are in a position where you're in need and you just can't find, like we don't have a unit open, or you can't find help, we are what's known as, referred to as an access point. So you can come to us and we can refer you to other services in the community who might be able to help you, whether that maybe is a place like Homeless Helpers or CVIC or wherever it may be. Our advocacy team has a bunch of organizations they work with, like you mentioned, and it's just, we kind of work collaboratively to help people however we possibly can. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so interesting because your hands are in so many different areas, whether it's the backpack program, which I absolutely love and applaud, because once kids go home for, from school, they're, fed, maybe it's breakfast, maybe then lunch. But after that, sometimes, there might not be an adult there to help with food, or adults working, and they need to, in a sense, kind of help provide for themselves if it's snacks and things like that. Also on the weekends and school break, I think learning, from some school, some teachers that during the pandemic that was a really, really hard time for our students in need, is not being at school because they didn't have that support, those resources, the meals, and things like that. And so can you share more about the backpack program and how that works?
Yeah, so we've had a recent kind of exciting development with this program as well, in which this school year will be the first full school year where we've been in every elementary school in Grand Forks. So previously, I think we were in like 5 or 6 schools, and now we're in all 11. And we even have somewhat of a presence in one of the middle schools as well.
Awesome.
But basically how the program works is we have volunteers come in and we pack food bags full of 10 food items. And those bags get brought to the schools towards the end of each week on Thursdays. And then on Friday, these kids discreetly get the bags, put in their backpack, so there's no judgment from anyone else. And then they have that food to take home on the weekends. And one thing I did want to mention is I hear sometimes people will say, well, it's a parent's responsibility to feed their child, and so why does this program need to exist? And that's true, but it's not like we have parents out here who are just starving their kids, really. We have families who are just barely able to scrape by, and so they can't get all the other essential items that kids need, like school supplies and clothes and medicine and gas and stuff like that. So this extra food just takes a little bit of that pressure off and makes sure kids have some kind of consistent source of food, and families can go and get those other essentials that they need. So
Absolutely. And I think that's such an amazing point when you look at the different items that are coming in for the backpack program. I know it's very thoughtful. It's the Easy Mac, it's the Easy Pop Top things, because whoever's providing support for the kids, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, anybody in that sense, they might be working on Saturday and they're home. And so being able to say, okay, here's how I make Easy Mac. Here's a snack for it. And I do truly believe it takes a village. And so, less judgment and more, how can we help support these kids? Because, hey, if we could have free lunches in our schools, that would have been, a total bonus. But here's a way that we can help take that extra step a little bit further for all of the kids who, may not have that. So wholeheartedly agree. I think there's, easy little ways that we can give and to provide that. And so I applaud that program. Love every piece of it. Even we're discreetly putting it in backpacks. We're not giving them a brown paper bag as they're leaving, putting that in the backpack saying, here's where it's at. And it's one less thing for these kids to worry about.
Exactly. Yeah. And so even like we've kind of worried about, when you get up to middle and high school levels, like you might feel like there's more of that judgment. So at the middle school, it's kind of set up a little bit differently where it's more like a pantry that families can come access when they need to.
Nice.
But just on your point of the discreetness, I just wanted to share like one sweet thing that I had seen about a year ago or a couple of years ago. Our director Sue went into Kelly Elementary to talk about this program, and it was at like one of the rallies, or I don't know what they call the gatherings there, but with all the kids, and she shared about the program, and there was just like a lot of excitement and desire from the kids to help their classmates because they're going to class every day with these kids. They like them, and they want to make sure everyone has access to the kind of resources they do. So they went home and told their parents, and basically the school organized a big food drive.
That's awesome.
It was so sweet to see that kind of support just from these kids' peers.
Yeah, yeah. And learning, at a young age that not every family wakes up with 4 different cereals or different, understanding that, and that, we can help our friends and our neighbors and to do that. So such an awesome program. One of the things, I know you are always looking for volunteers for that and ways to give. So I'm guessing Dale will pop some stuff up. He always does on ways to give with the rescue mission there. As the holidays approach, what are some big needs that you see? And I think the holidays and also the cold weather,
yes,
to kind of tie that in. Thank you, sir.
So glad you asked. Fortunately, we're in a little warm period here, but we know that's not going to last. So I'm hoping we get a couple more weeks of it. But beyond that, we know it's going to get cold, and we're always looking this time of year for like winter gear, hats, gloves, even boots, scarves, coats, stuff like that. We use that not only for the people who are staying at the shelter, but we have community members who will come and pick up a food box, or maybe they'll just stop by and, we'll see they have bare hands in 10 below degree weather. And so we want to have a kind of a stockpile of gloves, hats, whatever it may be, to give out to those people. So make sure no one freezes this winter.
And new, used, anything?
Yeah, pretty much anything. We'll find a use for. If it's new, sometimes every year we'll do what's called the bags of blessings, and we'll basically wrap Christmas presents for our clients just so they can kind of have their own Christmas. A lot of them don't have family in the area or resources to buy stuff for themselves. So it's super nice to be able to give them a new pair of gloves or, a new pair of jeans, stuff like that. But the used stuff we can make absolute great use of as well. So
awesome. So hats. One thing I thought of, this is a constant question going around on the boards and different things. How do I donate? Because understandably, there's a bajillion rules of it's got to be in this bag and it's got to go here and it's got to go to this and it's got to be in a box. And what way can people donate, and what kind of, what does that look like? If I said, I've got a bunch of hats, gloves, mittens, jackets, what do I do?
So it's pretty simple with the mission. You just stop by our front office pretty much any time. So we're staffed 24/7. So if you want to stop by at 3 a.m. with coats, you're welcome to.
Hey, coat party, coat party.
But what I would recommend is we keep a list of current needs on our website. So if you go to the homepage, you'll see a little button to it, and there's a whole list of like what clothing we're most in need of, what items for the kitchen, food for the backpack program. So that's a great way, if you reference that, to just make sure that your donations are going to be used to their full potential.
Do you have an Amazon wish list?
We do, actually.
Yay.
Yes. And there's a link to that on the page I just was referring to. So you can, that maybe needs to be updated, but I'm sure we can still use most of what's on there.
Yes.
A lot of kitchen stuff on there, I think.
Yes, I am a huge shop local fan, but can I just applaud the like wish lists that are online for like the backpack program and things like that, because I'm also a deal shopper. So when it comes to groceries right now, with this little recession we've got going on, let's maximize our dollar when it comes to our Easy Mac. So when I can find a real good deal and I can ship it right to, you know, the mission. I know we've had United Way on before, but just being able to send those directly to you and get it to you right away saves that extra step in me saying, oh, I don't know if I have time to drop it off this week. So get on and do that. I know there's a lot of organizations in our community that do that to allow even people outside of our area who are listening. I know we've got a lot of people that listen that have left the Grand Cities area, but still want to stay in touch. Easy way to give. And obviously monetary donations are always welcome, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I'll put out a request for like, we need toilet paper, and someone outside of the community wants to give, but they're not going to drive all the way here. So you're always welcome if you have a specific thing you want to give to donate money, and just make a note in the donation. You know, please use this for toilet
the TP.
paper.
Yep, awesome. So. I love that. Now, as Thanksgiving is next week, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought about that this morning. I had a little bit of a like, oh shoot, getting ready for that. Do you all have volunteers that come in and help serve Thanksgiving
Yes,
meals?
we do. So I'm glad that I'll get to talk about this. This is a big thing. It's kind of our next big thing at the mission. Is every year, a lot of people know we do like a big Thanksgiving community dinner, and it used to be we would gather at St. Paul's Church across the street, and anyone could stop by. But since COVID, we've transitioned to doing meal deliveries, and we're still doing that because it's just worked out so well. So next Thursday, we will be delivering meals from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you need meals, want some, you're welcome to call ahead. Just check our website or just call the main number and leave your name, address, phone number, how many meals you need. Or you could stop by the day of and pick up meals. And we do have volunteers who will be helping us do all these deliveries. We've had a lot of people donate stuff like turkeys and instant mashed potatoes and bread and all that. So
you're set on food.
We're still looking
Never
for some
set.
turkeys. Yeah,
Okay.
We can always use more.
Okay.
I think the big things right now are turkeys, cranberry sauce, and bread, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
So
Check the website
yes.
though.
And if you want to be a volunteer driver, help do deliveries, we always have spots open for that as well. So
okay,
give us
and
a
is
call.
that's just a sign up online, or give you a call, or
give us a call, and
Okay.
We'll get you to our volunteer coordinator. So
that's awesome. I know there's a ton of families in town. I know a lot of student athletes too, and they are looking for volunteer opportunities. That's usually UND students, things like that. Maybe people here with the tech school. Anything that you're here and you think, I'm just hanging out. I'd love to be able to do something from 11 to 1, and then you can go enjoy your turkey day as well while someone else is enjoying theirs. Make sure to reach out to the mission. I know we get questions about that a lot as well. So
yeah, we're excited. We've done like 700 plus meals in the last few years just delivering, and so
is it a individual meal, or do you bring like for a large family? How does that work?
So they're all in like individual takeout containers, but we'll frequently have a family call in and say, I need 5 meals this day. So,
so you're not delivering like a whole turkey? I'd love to just roll up with like, here's your ginormous turkey.
No, they're all ready to eat.
Okay.
There is turkey, and while I'm talking about turkey, I have to shout out Texas Roadhouse really quick, because they cook all the turkeys for us every year in their kitchen,
awesome.
which is, everyone already loves Texas Roadhouse,
Yeah.
but here's another reason to love them. They
Right?
do this after hours, like on their own time.
Yeah.
The manager, Jacob Guthmiller's amazing every year. We keep adding turkeys, and he's like,
Yeah.
bring them on, and
Yeah.
we'll cook them all, because we just can't do
Takes
it.
them
in
like a
our-
hot second, I bet too.
Yeah,
There.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, shout out to Texas Roadhouse.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah. What if someone snuck in some of that like cinnamon butter into the one of the packs?
Right?
I'd be
I
like,
would love to get those rolls in there. Those things are so good.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't stop. It's like chips and salsa.
Right.
Okay, so we've got Thanksgiving, and then we roll right into Christmas. So I know there's like no break for you guys. You're like foot on the pedal here. So what does Christmas look like for you in terms of volunteer needs and things like that?
Yeah, so I already kind of mentioned the bags of blessings, the new gifts for clients. We usually have a little kind of in-house party with that where we'll do treats and music, and we have, I believe it's Schrader Middle School does like treats and cards for us every year,
Cool.
and we can use a few volunteers for that with helping to like serve the Christmas meal. I wouldn't say there's a big volunteer need. I'd say if anyone's looking to get involved, the best possible thing you could do for that would be to run like a item donation drive and just try to gather a few, new clothes or hygiene products or something like that we could use for the gifts.
Okay. So go online, kind of pick that out. I know you work closely with, we just had Santa Claus girls in here last week. And so
yeah, I actually listened to that episode.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you work closely with them. And I think that's the beautiful part is all of our agencies, you know each other, you talk to each other, you know what families are serving. And so to make sure that you kind of like do the most good and spreading out,
Yeah.
the love, families that Jen and her folks at the Santa Claus girls can help and referring them over. And she likewise can say, hey, go hit up the mission for your Thanksgiving meal and to be able to share that. So I think the more that we can share this, because there's just so much unknown of maybe I'm in a tough spot in the community. Maybe I'm right on the edge of maybe not being able to provide for my family for Christmas or even just a Thanksgiving meal. Contact these resources before it's, at that point of, oh gosh, now I'm in a real tough spot. Contact these resources to say, where can I start? And it's folks like you coming out and saying, here are the programs that we have. Connect with your school social worker, connect with the folks at the mission, even just say, hey, here's where I'm at. What resources do you suggest? You all can point people in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things I love the most about Grand Forks is what you're saying is it's very collaborative, and the agencies aren't here to fight each other. We're here to work together and use the limited resources we have to help as many people as we can. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate this. I'd love to have you come back this summer because there's always something new and different going on. But in the spirit of giving and Thanksgiving, just please make sure that you reach out to our community organizations and do, whatever it is you can. If it's cleaning out, I know for me, cleaning out my mitten and hat bin. I've got a 4-year-old who has blown through probably 3 different hats because his melon's getting a little bit bigger, but those things are in good use. Next, but just doing something that that is helpful for the community members. We will have the resources, like I said, on here. And if you have questions and you want me to connect you with Matt or anyone at the mission, please feel free to just direct message me, and we can put you in touch there. But thank you so much to those that have given, and for those that are considering giving and supporting. It really supporting these agencies in our community really help our community thrive. And so that's why I'm really passionate about having those of you on, and so we can share more about that. So I appreciate you
so
being
much.
Yeah,
It's been a
thank you for
pleasure.
being here. Thank you so much. Make sure with everything you do today that you put a fork in it, and we'll see you next week for Thanksgiving.